My name is Jessica Vega Pederson, and I am the Multnomah County Commissioner for District 3. The City of Portland and the Multnomah County Commission made commitments for both our jurisdictions that we would get to 100% renewable energy by 2050. And we'll do that in steps of getting to 100% renewable electricity by 2035, and by 2050 having the very ambitious goal of getting to 100% renewable energy overall. Almost the easiest step was putting together the goal. Now it's how are we actually going to achieve that goal, and how are we going to do it in a way that ensures a just transition for folks. Thank you so much to Northwest Natural, Pacific Power, and PGE. All of them are sponsoring the series. I think represents the values of our community and the need to really do some serious work to address climate change issues. We are going to start off this series with a presentation today by Ben Haley.
Very excited to be here. First of all, what is deep decarbonization? So when we say deep decarbonization, what we mean is transformation of the energy economy consistent with keeping global warming less than 2 degrees C. These deep decarbonization scenarios have radical transformations. So this isn't a 10%, 20% reduction. This is, something like 80% reduction from current emissions levels, and they require very different systems. So what are the highlights of those analyses that we've conducted so far? Well, we call them the 3 pillars. First, electrification. There is some switching to electricity as a final energy product for some end uses. So, for example, electric vehicles. We know how to put in solar plants. We know how to put in wind plants. So we want electricity so that they can use that as sort of a conduit to delivering that clean energy. It's important to utilize efficiency to basically lower the amount of things we have to build to provide clean energy. Finally, electricity decarbonization. We switch to electricity. We're using electricity as a conduit for decarbonized energy, so we actually have to decarbonize that energy upstream. So in the U.S., what is the scale of the use of those pillars, if you will? In our risky business analysis here, in 2015, the U.S. used about a quarter of their final energy was electricity. In 2050, that was up over 50%. The large majority of that was the switching of internal combustion vehicles over to electric vehicles. The second pillar, decarbonization of that electricity, we got about a 99% decrease in the emissions intensity of electricity generation. That was a combination in this case of wind, solar, some CCS, a little bit of nuclear, and finally energy efficiency. Per dollar of GDP, how much energy do we use? And it goes down to about a third of what we use today. So those 3 pillars combine to achieve the targets in the United States. What are some of the conclusions that we can, potentially draw from the systems that we've analyzed so far? Ambitious, economy-wide deep decarbonization by 2050 is possible. You can't go all the way to zero in one single sector and expect for the economy to meet its overall goals. So it's important to understand that there needs to be sort of concerted action across sectors. Multiple pathways exist. Choices need to be made, and they need to be made relatively soon in some areas. Pathways, again, are not prescriptive, but they do give you a framework for analyzing what might change and how that might change your eventual plans. It's important to stay flexible and build a robust pathway. Finally, collaborative multi-sector action. It's going to require everyone, and it's going to require action across a variety of sectors that don't necessarily talk. It's a very integrated system, so it is going to necessitate that level of collaboration. So thank you. Thank you very much.